Audio Jungle.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? Hope you're well. This is your favorite online doctor, Dr. Achmed Kamara here, Doctor to You. You know, our values are putting patient first, showing true empathy, working collaboratively with our patients, and being super focused when it comes to quality. What I want to talk to you about today is the return of students back to school. And I think this is a real momentous occasion. It's, you know, that process of transitioning to the new normality, whatever that's going to be. But it's taking that first step, isn't it? It's raised a lot of anxiety for some students, for parents. I have a vested interest in this because, you know, of my role as a clinician, but I also have children who are returning back to school. And I know friends who are teachers. But I think we all should be really optimistic. This is what we've all been crying about. You know, when are we going to come out of lockdown? When are we going to go back to normal? And when are we going to be able to see each other again? And I think this is a really significant first step. For those of us that are parents and for those of you that are students, I'll say, look, be positive. Follow the guidance that has been given out. And so if one way of looking at it is we've so far been protected by the lockdown, the national lockdown, which has really enforced social distancing, right? And we're now in a process of the recovery from the coronavirus, where there are vaccines available. Lots of people have been vaccinated. Over 20 million plus people have been vaccinated with at least their first dose. And so we're now being protected by the vaccination, whilst we're still following the social distancing measures, regular hand washing, wearing a face mask in public areas, but additionally in schools and in a lot of places of employment, there's also going to be regular testing. And this will be a new thing for students and their parents. So this is the lateral flow testing, where you'll be required to test twice a week. It's an antigen test. I won't go into the details here, but it's a really rapid way of picking up whether or not you have the coronavirus. It's really quick. It's not 100% accurate. There are some false positives. There are also some false negatives. But it gives us a good barometer as to what the level of activity is in terms of the COVID-19 disease amongst the population, and in this case amongst the student population. Well, check out my video, my video on COVID-19, where I really discuss in detail the difference between the antigen test and the PCR test. So, what do you have to do when you get back to school? So you're expected to wear a face mask for secondary school students. You're expected to wear a face mask in the classroom. I know that's going to be a new thing. Some people might find this quite uncomfortable. You're also expected to keep social distancing, maintain social distancing as much as possible with your colleagues as well as with the teachers. You'd find teachers who may well keep windows open to try and keep the classrooms ventilated. So dress warm. Dress warm when you return back to school. The temperature is still quite cold outside. And as I mentioned, earlier, you'll be expected to do twice weekly lateral flow tests. And if they're positive, you'll be expected to self-isolate at home. But this will also have implications for other family members at home who would also need to isolate. It's thought that it may cause a lot of disruption. But I really think, that minimal temporary disruption of perhaps 10 days, 14 days, rather than all of us going back, remaining in lockdown, is worthwhile, as long as we're all being safe. If you have symptoms, of a cough, a fever, sore throat, diarrhea, loss of taste, loss of smell, still seek medical advice in the usual way. And that is a time to really not just rely on the lateral flow test alone, but to also get medical advice and get a PCR blood test, which is a lot more accurate because that looks for the genetic material of the COVID-19 virus. But embrace it, stay positive, and just continue to put your focus back into your education, as I'm sure you have been doing at home. But there are limitations. I and my wife, we know the challenges that are faced when you're homeschooling. We've been homeschooling two of our children. It's not always easy for the kids. We're not teachers, so we're not, very good at keeping them well focused on task and on target. And they get distracted as well, and it's just natural. And I think, teachers do this best, and it's great to have them back, providing the valuable education that they provide to our children and the rest of our students in our population. So I wish you all the best on your return back to school. Look after yourself, study hard, stay safe, maintain social distancing, regular hand washing, wear your face mask, do your lateral flow test twice weekly, and if you've got symptoms, seek medical advice. All the best. All the best.